Can you describe to us what kind of a return a company can expect to see after advertising at the Super Bowl as opposed to another event?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the spots this year are at 6.5, so they're up from $1 million from last year, which was 5.5. So they keep going up and up, even though viewership was down actually last year. There's still a large incentive and a big need for people to be on the biggest stage for advertising, which is the Super Bowl. So I think the return on investment can be great for companies if they plan it out ahead of time. And really, the way to think about it is, and we've done several Super Bowl ads, my firm has, and we've done both on the top of the ad meter, which is the gold standard of how you rate a Super Bowl spot, and also on the bottom. So we've been sort of all over the gambit in terms of success with different Super Bowl spots. But the way to really get the most ROI is for brands and companies to think about a pre-Super Bowl strategy with your campaign during the Super Bowl, and then a follow-up post-Super Bowl strategy. That way you're extending it beyond just the 30-second spot that's airing during the game.
What I hear you saying is it's like storytelling, beginning, middle, and an end, but any good story has
chapters, that. Exactly.
Yeah, and it has that emotional connection. I mean, who doesn't love the little kid in the Darth Vader outfit doing the VW thing from the Super Bowl a few years ago? How do you get that? How do you get the emotional connection with a Super Bowl viewer? Because a lot of these ads are just going to miss the target.
Yeah, on one hand, I always advocate that I think it's worth, even if it's $6.5 million, by having that 3-chapter strategy, you're going to really do well for your brand. And for a nascent brand, an unknown brand, so if we think about Rocket Mortgage, which was fairly well-known, maybe a little bit well-known, they did 2 of the best spots last year, and all of a sudden that brand is in a different category. And so I see this year a lot of crypto companies that will be buying advertising time, trying to really legitimize the cryptocurrency market and trying to go mainstream with it. I think that's going to be a big theme this year. So I think having a smart strategy is always worthwhile. But to your point, if you don't test the work before it goes out and you don't talk to the audience and you don't do your research, you can put up a flop. And that can damage, you can spend a lot of money damaging a brand or damaging a company just as much as you can if it's successful, having a company become maybe from an insurgent brand into an established brand. It can work both ways.
Right. And how do you think the way in which consumers are using social media, TikTok especially right now, how has that changed the way that advertisers think about creating one of these campaigns for the Super Bowl or for ads more broadly when it comes to what type of content is actually going viral at this point?
Yeah, so I think that really has to do with a lot of the casting that you might see in the Super Bowl ads. So I brought up Rocket Mortgage, Tracy Morgan, who's got a huge following on social media. He promoted the ad ahead of time, and then he asked his audience to vote for the ad on his channels, which helped elevate the ad and the viewership of the ad. So I think thinking about casting, maybe bringing in not just celebrities, but some online influencers that are big on different channels like TikTok or on Instagram, putting them in your commercial, they're going to help promote your brand and your commercial even before it launches. So I think trying to think about who you put into your ad for casting is really a way to leverage social media. And then doing anything around the ad that might be either a contest or a challenge or a competition that dovetails with the 30-second ad is another way to extend your brand presence.
This is a question that involves the younger generation, which is now taking the reins at companies nationwide. Are CMOs, is this going to be a forever thing with the Super Bowl? Are these younger CMOs going to be placing their ads saying, look, the Super Bowl had its day, but eventually this is over, and they're just going to go straight streaming, straight social media outlets to reach an audience?
That's a great question. I think it will always have prestige. I think there's only a few events, maybe the Super Bowl, the Olympics, the Grammys. There's a few of those events that I think are really tune-in events that aren't on demand, that happen live. And I think that will always be the case where you see a third of America watching the Super Bowl. That's very rare to catch that big of an audience all at the same time. And I think the opposite, with social media being so prevalent, having those actual broadcast moments that are critical are fewer and far between. So I think even when you think of a company like Reddit that did that 5-second breakthrough ad last year, that is a young sort of fringe type of brand or company, and they really wanted to be part of it, but they did it. They did traditional advertising in sort of an edgy, non-traditional way by just doing a 5-second ad. And that was their way of sort of hitting the big mark, but doing it a little bit differently. So I think with younger CMOs, I think they're going to try to find new ways like that Reddit example to still be involved. But it still is important, and it still will matter to them.
All right, Jason Harris, Mekanism co-founder and CEO, thank you so much for your time and insight this afternoon.